G'day! In today's video, I'm having a little bit of a rant regarding insurance and insurance policies in general. Insurance policies for everyone seem to be going up. Doesn't matter if it's car, home, business, miscellaneous, whatever it may be. And as insurance companies always are, it's in their vested interest not to pay out. Why? Because they're going to lose money. If they're paying for you, they're not making it. Doesn't matter how long you've been with them as well. Anyway, the thing that I've come across that's started this rant in general is the increasing rate of car insurance. Personally, I just pay for third-party bomb insurance on a cheap sub $5,000 car, and if anything happens to that car, well, so be it. Bad luck. So far, no accidents, haven't hit nothing, going fine. Instead, I'm paying around 200 to 250 Australian dollars a year, and that's a third party. If the car gets stolen, that sucks. I'll move on with life. I'll look for another cheap car and I'll continue along. Someone opens a door, bashes into my car. That sucks, but I don't really care. It's a cheap car. The kids are probably going to do that anyway. The thing that I've got though is the insurance premiums going up, even on these budget insurance policies. Now the thing with insurance is, your insurance doesn't just simply cover you. It covers everyone. Think of it this way. Let's say there's a pool of 100 people, and everyone in that pool has got a $5,000 car each that's insured with bomb insurance. All of a sudden, a new Tesla owner jumps in there, $100,000 car, they go for full comprehensive insurance, and then that car gets ridden off next week. Let's say the $100,000 car gets T-boned, the battery bursts, and the whole car's completely destroyed. It's a complete full write-off. Everyone down that chain is going to go up in price. Why? Because they're now going to cover this $100,000 car. You know, I might have been sitting over here paying $250 for the year. This fella with his $100,000 car might have been paying $2,500 a year, but now all these people below it have to cover it, or that insurance company's not going to make money. And the dilemma there is though, let's say we pooled every single one on third-party insurance only over here. Cool, great. Everyone with cheap cars are over here. The problem is a cheap car can still take out an expensive car. And if that happens and it's third party, all these cheap cars now have to pay for this expensive car. So I'm assuming it's a constant battle of scales of where the money goes. A cheap car covering an expensive car covering a cheap car. But essentially, you're throwing your money into a collective pool that everyone hopefully never needs to touch. From that pool, if an accident happens, the money's drawn out, gets spent on what it needs to be spent on, and then the insurance companies are trying to increase their profit. So all they can do is raise their prices. The other kicker that I've got is I pay around about $120, $110 a month for my business insurance. The vast majority of that is the $20 million public liability insurance I've got to have an A-frame at the front of the shop. So if you have something out front of the shop, apparently if someone collects that, hits it, let's say someone trips on it, smashes their face, sets off a nuclear bomb and destroys half the country, well then bam, all of a sudden you are liable. With that, you need a maximum amount of insurance to cover such a catastrophic event ever potentially happening. In reality, the A-frame's been out there for 7 years. The most it's nearly done is blown into a car on an extreme gust of wind, a parked car at that was sitting right beside it. So not exactly setting off a nuclear bomb. But because of that, because it's one particular major event has happened, the amount of insurance people have required has all of a sudden, everyone's gone up through the roof. And then because of that, I'm paying essentially an extra $20 a month to get that public liability to put an A-frame at the front of my shop, which I find that absolutely insane. The thing that I find crazy though as well, 4 years ago I sold a 2008 WRX. Cost me around 10 grand at the time, the car, Australian, and then it was insured for around about 14, I think it was 1,200 to 1,400 full comprehensive insurance. If I owned that car for 5 years, and never made a claim, I've paid nearly half that car in my insurance. That was the thing that motivated me to sell that car. The person I sold the car to was a little bit older than me. He's also owned a WRX prior, and his mate was down who drove him to the shop to pick up the car, also had a WRX. I need to shut my phone up. I had the 2008 WRX. This fella had a 2014 WRX, and his insurance was cheaper, and his car was insured for about 4 times or 3 times more than what the 2008 WRX was. No real logic to it. Apart from they expect this car to take out a more expensive car, and in turn, I don't know, it's like a tipping scales. If you have a more expensive car, they assume you're going to be a better driver, when in reality that may not be the case. So they kind of pump up the prices of the older cars to be better drivers, or they're expecting people with older cars not to care, and they're going to take out a more expensive car. It just seemed absolutely crazy. But this dude on the phone, he picked up the phone, answered it, or he called up an insurance company, and while he was in the shop, he's literally talking. He goes, I am 30-something years old, a couple of years older than what I was at the time. And next minute I hear, what? Is that how much it is? He goes, but I've owned one before. I've had my license for X amount of years. I'm this old. And they go, yeah, that's how much it is. The dude was he was struck. Lucky he was already sitting down when he made this call. Otherwise, he would have been sitting down after hearing that number that they gave him, which I assume was very close to the number that I initially got. Which has brought me on to why I drive a bomb of a car. Why? Why pay for an expensive car to then have expensive maintenance and then have ridiculous insurance prices? If you're buying a $20,000 car or $10,000 car, for example, same as what I did, and you're paying over $1,000 a year on full comprehensive insurance for that, and you own the car for 10 years and never make a claim, never have an accident, that insurance has essentially gone out the window. You've paid 10 grand to someone who's then used that 10 grand to replace a Tesla from someone else. In reality, you've not needed it, especially when the value they offer you the car goes down every year. It might have been a $10,000 car when you got it, insured for $1,200, and by the time 5 years have passed, you're insuring it for $1,600, and they're only going to give you $6,000. When it gets to that tipping point, there's no point having the full insurance. As long as you're better off putting it on bomb insurance, or not financial advice. My advice that I took myself was to drive a bomb of a car, have it on the most basic insurance, save the rest. If anything comes up that I need to replace with the car, the money is sitting there, not given to an insurance company that I'll never see again. The other thing that I came across the other day, which made me question the whole sanity, was uninsured driver protection. And what this apparently covered, it was extra insurance to cover an uninsured party. So think about that for a sec. If you're paying for insurance, and then you're paying extra insurance for an uninsured party, aren't you already... To me, it made no logical sense. I looked at the comments and it just paid out on it. It was a Facebook ad and it got absolute hate, which is truly what it deserved. Essentially, it was saying that you can pay for your insurance, you can pay for extra insurance to cover an uninsured driver that may have a crash. Even if they're the cause, they're the fault, your insurance is meant to cover that. You had third-party insurance, extra coverage insurance for this uninsured driver to cover your repair of the vehicle you already had insured. It did not make any sense. And yeah, this particular one was meant to say it covers your it allows you to retain your current discount or your current coverage or whatever the hell it may be, without having to have a bump in excess the following year. But they're going to bump it up anyway because it's the following year. Insurance goes up, fuel goes up, power goes up, it all goes up. So it made no logical sense to pay for this extra coverage to cover an uninsured driver that has crashed into you when you already have full comprehensive insurance. It didn't make any sense at all. You're paying for the insurance to cover you if you get impacted by anyone else. Why would you pay extra coverage to make sure you get covered? Insurance companies seem to be full of shit. Where I can't say, luckily, I can't say I've ever had to deal with them. My only real incidents I've had is I hit a fox, took out the front bumper of the car. Now that I think of it, I think we had full comprehensive insurance on that. It was cheaper for me to buy a new bumper for $200, paint the bumper for $100, fit the bumper with an hour of time, than just pay the $700 excess that was on the car at the time. Fair enough, I could have paid the $700, dropped it in, waited a week, got the car back, kept going with life. But for something so minor, there was no point. Unless the car gets fully T-boned and it cannot drive again, that's when I'm going to claim. Well, that's when I would have claimed. Now with third-party insurance only, if that happens, everyone's okay, I'll look for a new car and carry on with life, and I'll scrap the old car. And the money that I've pocketed, I'll use that to replace the car. But overall, not a fan. Always hear about insurance companies trying to worm their way out of a fault or a problem. And especially when their market value and agreed value constantly trickle down every year, and there's nothing you can really do. Like, you could go take an advanced driving course and they'll probably say, nah, we don't care, because that dickhead over there is going to T-bone you when you're not seeing them, and that's still going to cost us money. So why would we lower the price? Anyway, that's my rant about insurance. Bye.